All of the name-calling and being stripped of her Miss California crown, Carrie Prejean is not backing down. Joining me now for a Hannity exclusive is the author of the brand new book, Still Standing, The Untold Story of My Fight Against Gossip, Hate, and Political Attacks. And by the way, I'm proud that I wrote the foreword for this book. Carrie Prejean, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Well, your life never is without controversy.
I know.
You know, and it's still going on today. All right, we might as well go right to it. There is TMZ, the website, has up there that they have obtained a, quote, and I'm using their word, Carrie Prejean sex tape. What's going on?
Well, they can call it whatever they want to call it, but it was the biggest mistake of my life. I was all by myself. I was sending a boyfriend at the time who I loved and cared about, video of me, and
This is when you were a teenager?
yeah, I was a teenager at the time, and never did I think it would ever come out. But it was bad judgment, and it's embarrassing, and it's humiliating to be talking about this now on national TV, if you can imagine.
It would be really embarrassing if it was me, but I want to make a light of it. But this is really does this bother you a lot?
Yeah, it does bother me, but you know what? You just have to take responsibility for it, and I am. I'm taking total responsibility for it. I was, alone, sending it to my boyfriend who I cared about and loved about at the time. When you're young, you think, this is the one, and never did I think it would come and just slap me right in the face.
So what happened? So this was a relationship with a boyfriend. This is not a sex tape. When we hear the word sex tape, this is not anything like some of the ones we've heard about. This is, you were sending video of yourself to your boyfriend.
Right. I was all by myself, and
a boyfriend you loved.
Right, and no one was in the room with me. I was not having sex with anybody, and you call it whatever you want to call it.
So now you become famous. He saved this video all these years and sells it.
Right.
It's a pretty big betrayal.
It is, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about people and just what they'll do to make some extra money.
Yeah. And have you spoken to him about this?
Of course he denies everything, but whatever.
Well, there's only one place it could have come from, right?
Exactly.
Or at least originate from.
Exactly.
What do you think? Now, it's interesting. TMZ, they're a pretty hard-hitting website, but they said they were making an editorial decision not to air it. Are you prepared that eventually this is going to get out, and are you concerned about that?
I mean, I think anyone would be concerned that their biggest mistake of their life is going to be, aired, but like I said, you just have to take responsibility for it. It happened. It was a choice that I made. It was the worst mistake of my life, and I just have to deal with it. And I'm ready to just move forward and just, yeah, it happened, and it's not what everybody's making it seem to be, but you just have to deal with it.
What do you think this is related to? I mean, you were asked a question. You didn't know what the question was going to be about gay marriage. You gave an honest answer. It becomes this big controversy. Do you think this is the fact that they would dig deep? Is this to show that, wow, Carrie Prejean was a teenager, that she's a hypocrite? Is that?
I guess what they're trying to say is that Christians, are perfect, and I never said I was perfect. And in my book, I definitely don't say I'm perfect.
No, you just go to great lengths to say that Christians are not.
Exactly. And, it just shows that it's been 7 months. Isn't that crazy to think it's been 7 months, and it's taken them this long, to just dig through my past, beat my parents up, just all these attacks just need to stop. And it's just because of my answer. And I think people need to be reminded of that. And I'm 22 years old. People forget about that.
It's also a different world. Look, I got to be honest, and I've been honest with my audience. If we go back and dig into my teenage years and when I was in my early 20s, if anyone looks at those moments when they're young, you never want this to become public.
Right.
Do you think this is related? Look how they attack Governor Palin. Look at how they attack Michelle Bachmann and Michelle Malkin and Ann Coulter. Do you think conservative women are targeted because of their views?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what does that mean to you?
It's disturbing to me. It really is disturbing. My sister is a liberal, and she is disgusted with the way that her sister, we're 11 months apart, and we share different views.
This is the one in the military.
Right. Yeah. And we share completely different views, but we've always been raised to have tolerance and to show civility, and we can agree to disagree. And I've never, my 22 years of my life, I've never seen anything like this before, ever. I've never seen it.
Well, I guess this goes down to still standing, and what has this whole experience, when you look at it, and maybe the worst is yet to come, and as much as this tape is probably, if people have it, they'll probably release it. But you're not going to let this bother you. I was talking to you before we came on the air. You're fine with who you are.
Yeah.
How hard is it to be in the middle of a national controversy?
You know, I just have to rely on my faith. I have to rely on my family, my millions of supporters out there who still support me and who know, why this is really happening. But, this book, I'm so happy that I wrote this book. This is my first book that I've ever written. And, it gives Americans just hope. And it shows them that, Americans should not be attacked for their beliefs. They should not be silenced. We have the freedom of speech. And I was punished. I was fired. I was brutally attacked and still being attacked. People are still trying to dig up things from my past.
You know what's amazing? It's still, I think it's a reminder to people, you're only 22 years old. I mean, you're still a very young person.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you do in this book, that I liked in the book, is you really address young girls. And you try to maybe counsel them and advise them. What do you tell young girls that, have these boyfriends, their first love, like this was one of your first boyfriends?
Yeah.
You really were close to him. Now it's been a big betrayal. What do you tell young girls?
Be careful. Nothing is private anymore. Yeah. Nothing is private. With Facebook, with MySpace, with all that going on, I mean, you have to be so careful. And in my last chapter of my book, I give, advice to young women and just to people in general that, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes just like all of us make mistakes. And, this book has been so great for me to share with other people what happened, because I do share. I do share what really happened. And people have heard bits and pieces of, the liberal media's version of it. But basically, it's for Americans who believe their beliefs are under
it's
attack.
amazing. I guess I have interviewed you at every moment of heightened controversy.
I know.
And you seem to handle it really well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If it was the pictures of me, I'll be honest, I'd be melting and falling apart.
Well, my attackers would love nothing more but for me to be hiding in a corner right now.